Hey guys, what's going on? Mr. Dragon 47 here. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about some top tier weapons for the Team Fortress 2 Pyro. Now before I get this going, I'm just going to say that, first of all, this is mostly in my opinion, how I use the weapons and how well I use them. Second of all, I'll only be doing 5 weapons per slot, if there are 5. Okay, let's get started here. So let's start off with the primary weapons. Number 4, the Phlogistinator. Okay, wait. Before I get into these weapons, I want to say there aren't really any bad flamethrowers. Anyway, this weapon is one of those where it's really annoying to go up against, but really awkward to use. The Phlogistinator has an oomph meter that fills up by doing any kind of fire damage to players. Since you're Pyro and fire's kind of your thing, this meter fills up really quickly. The meter isn't like the soda popper for Scout, because with the soda popper, you run around and get mini crits. With the Phlegistinator, you have to do a taunt and get the crits going. While you're doing the taunt, you'll take almost no damage whatsoever. The bad thing about this is the fact that there's 10% less damage, does not get random crits, and here's the really bad thing about it, cannot air blast. I wanted to do the Pyros that loves air blasting, and it just kind of takes the fun out of playing Pyro. Also, like I said with the Cow Mangler, I've never really met someone who said, yeah, you know, I'm really good with the Phlogistinator. Number 3, the Backburner. The good thing about this weapon is that it does guaranteed crits to players from behind. If you're a sneaky Pyro, and you can get behind some people, you can do pretty well with this weapon. Okay, yeah, that's the only good things about it. The bad things about it is that you cannot get random crits, and air blasting costs 50 ammo instead of 20, which is something that I really hate about it. Also, the crits from behind is just kind of weird, because say you're playing Spy and you go to backstab someone, you could kind of be beside them and still get a backstab, but it's not the same way with the Backburner. You have to be directly behind whoever you're trying to get crits on, making this number 3. Number 2, the Flamethrower. I know I've said this so many times, but vanilla weapons have nothing good or bad about them. With this Flamethrower, like any, it does damage to players after you hit them with it. If someone is right in your face and you hit them with it, it will do about 153 damage to them. You can air blast rockets, grenades, arrows, any projectiles. If it hits someone, it will do an automatic mini crit to them. Number 1, the Degreaser. Now, this is my main weapon to use. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't used it before, don't be turned off by the negative 10% damage and negative 25% afterburn damage, because the 65% faster weapon switch will enable you to kill enemies very quickly with the right weapons. With this, and then all the number 1 weapons for secondary and melee, you can become what I like to call the ultimate crit Pyro. Now let's move on to the secondary weapons. Number 5, Man Melter. You know, I don't really like this weapon too much. I'd use it more if there was a reload animation on it, and I knew when I could shoot it again. This weapon doesn't require ammo, and projectiles move 50% faster than a flare gun. This weapon doesn't get random crits, but you can extinguish teammates with the alternate fire, and it gives you a stored crit. Now, stored crits and I just don't work out too well. I don't know what it is about them, but I'm always like, okay, wait to use it, wait, oh, there's guys to shoot, no, not yet. Then I either end up missing completely or dying with the crit still stored, and it goes away. Number 4, Detonator. This weapon is okay if you like playing like a flare gun, that you can overshoot a little and still do damage to a player. While the detonator's projectile is in midair, you can hit the alternate fire button and it will explode in midair. Another cool thing about it is that it has a knockback on it that can make you flare jump and go maybe 2 times higher than you can usually. The reason this is at number 4 is because you have a 25% explosion self-damage resistance, which means that you will do quite a lot of damage to yourself when flare jumping, and it only does many crits to burning players. Number 3, the reserve shooter. If you're big on air blasting, this weapon's the one for you. It has 15% faster weapon switch, so let's say you put it with the degreaser, you get an 80% faster weapon switch, as if 65% wasn't enough. This weapon does many crits to airborne targets, so that means you can air blast someone, switch to this weapon, and do easy mini crits. The bad thing about it is that it only has 3 shots instead of 6, which is something that isn't too great in my book. Number 2, the shotgun. Yeah, I said this for everyone, but vanilla weapons have nothing bad or good about them. But just because this isn't number 1, doesn't mean that you shouldn't use it. If there are, say, 2 other Pyros on the team, and they have a flare, the number 1 weapon on this list, you should go shotgun Pyro, just because 3 number 1 weapon Pyros aren't really necessary. Number 1, yeah, you guessed it, the flare gun. It's just barely a direct upgrade from the shotgun. It does do less damage on direct hit to players, but more when you take the afterburn into consideration. If there is someone burning and you hit them with this weapon, it does an automatic crit to them. So, how is this bad? Well, the projectiles don't get to a long range as fast as a shotgun pellet will. A shotgun pellet will probably get somewhere instantaneously, but the flare takes a longer time to get there. There's also kind of an awkward arc to the flare, making it hard to hit people from far range. I'd suggest using this on mid-range people only, unless you just want to flare spam and throw random flares into the air and see if it hits someone. Okay, that's pretty much it for secondaries, so let's go on to melee. Number 5, the Homewrecker. This weapon is for those nice Pyros that stay with their engineers and help defend sentry nests. This weapon is able to remove sappers from buildings. From friendly buildings, I may add. It also does double damage to buildings, so if there's an annoying engineer on the other team, Homewrecker. If there's an annoying spy on the other team that keeps taking out sentry nests, Homewrecker. So pretty much you are in a love-hate relationship with engineers depending on if they're on your side or not. You also become an even worse nightmare to any spies because of the fact that you can remove sappers. Number 4, the Back Scratcher. If you play with this weapon, I and many others can understand why. This weapon does 25% more damage than a regular fire axe. Also, whenever you're getting a health kit, it will give you 50%. It will give you 50% more health than usual. The downside to it is that medics and dispensers do not give you health 75% slower. Now, most of the time this won't matter because medics try their best to stay back with the pack and not get killed, whereas a pyro has to be right up in the enemy's face to kill someone. Dispensers are, for the most part, near health kits anyway, because there's usually an ammo kit nearby, which engineers need to upgrade their buildings faster. Number 3, the Power Jack. The Power Jack. This weapon is for the pyros that get enemies to low health and kill them with their melee weapon. It gives you 75 health back from killing someone. If you're at full health, you can get overheal from killing someone. But if you're at 174 instead of 175 health, you only get 1 health point back. It's great for those aggressive pyros that want to get a lot of great melee kills. Number 2, now don't judge me on this, Sharpened Volcano Fragment. I used to use this weapon before I got the number 1 weapon for melee. It's pretty simple. It sets people on fire, but a hit does 20% less damage on the actual hit. The reason I use this is because you get the full afterburn on someone. It actually does more damage than the regular fire axe in the long run. Number 1, Axe Extinguisher. This is my favorite weapon in all of TF2. It's just so beautiful. Okay, anyway, this weapon does crits to any burning players. 195 damage. Come on, that's amazing. Take this into consideration. You can kill any class, besides heavy, that isn't overhealed, and kill them with 1 hit if they're burning. Well, I guess I'll tell you the bad things about it. It doesn't ever do crits and does 50% less damage to someone who isn't burning. The great thing about to do with this weapon is the puff and sting method of extinguishing people. Hit them with the flamethrower, the puff, and switch to extinguisher and kill them with it, sting. Alright, well, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe for more. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you lovely people later. Bye.